Here we are. It's another grilling session. This time it's going to be for my own dang team. As Kalen DeBoer and Alabama have shit the bed once again. Hate to be so blunt and so slightly vulgar, I guess. That's sort of a PG cuss word, but they basically sold the sheets again and basically lost their bowels on the road once again. So that's better adjectives for those that are, insulted by PG cuss words out there. And, I was one of the people that defended Kalen DeBoer last year, even after he lost to Vanderbilt, after beating Georgia and almost giving up a historical lead. I took up for him. I said, y'all calm your feathers. This is his first year. He's getting his feet wet. He's getting his system in place and yada, yada, yada. All the coach speak and political, nicey nice stuff that you can say. But this is becoming a thing, Kalen, that you cannot prepare your team to play on the road against about just anybody. I haven't went back and looked at all of our road victories with Kalen, but there's not many of them. And it's not like we're going into, LSU and losing. Or actually, we won that game because, in Baton Rouge, Alabama is like Teflon. For some reason, we can win in Baton Rouge no matter what. But other than LSU, outside of LSU, it's like he cannot play a road game. He beats Georgia in what a lot of people considered an upset, and then turned around and lost to Vanderbilt, and we hadn't lost to them in over 40-something years. Last time they lost to Vanderbilt was on homecoming back in 1984 on my birthday. And then he lost to Oklahoma and Michigan, technically on the road, and Tennessee. Tennessee was a decent road loss, but Oklahoma was having a down year. They were 5-5. We actually give Oklahoma a bowl invitation. Without that win, Oklahoma doesn't get in the bowl game. I know Oklahoma's saying thank you, even though they lost the Navy. And then we went on the road, sort of, in a neutral site game, a bowl game with Michigan, and lost to them in back-to-back years at the end of the year. Each and every year for the last 2 years, we've lost to Michigan. So you fast forward to now, we're going down to Florida State. A team coming off a 2-10 season now. A team that still has a little angst for Alabama. Let me get a little drinky drink here. And we lose to them and look bad doing it. Now, of course, yes, there was some bad officiating in that game. But not enough bad officiating to cover up the unprepared look that Alabama was. And you have all these Alabama haters in here. They're going to come in here after me later on. And they're going to be like, or when we lose a game, the first thing the Alabama haters do is come on here and say, where's all the Alabama fans at? Where y'all at? Where y'all at? By the way, Hines 57, Alabama looks as bad as Texas Heisman hopeful looked a little bit worse. Yeah, maybe we should have started the year with Illinois State, like Oklahoma. From now on, Alabama needs to starting these years with a cupcake like the rest of you. Because playing these neutral site games against big-time competition or going on the road to play a team that is middle of the road, it's just not worth it, man. Because Alabama is now – you lost to a Florida State team that 2 years ago you took the playoff spot. So, of course, they're going to have some angst coming into this. But I don't know, man. It's just it seems like he just cannot prepare himself for these road games. Like I said, Kalen, I was all for you, man. But the only thing that's going to save this season at this point, more than likely, is for some big-time star to emerge that maybe you don't see emerging, or Alabama upsets Georgia in Athens, which they might end up doing because that's Kalen DeBoer's MO. But the thing is, it's like these teams, most of them, outside of Tennessee, they are all teams that were middle of the road. Yes, Oklahoma and Michigan have big names. Florida State has a big name from the past. All three of them do. But right now, they're on the downslope. They've had a couple of bad years. They've been middle of the road, average teams. You're losing to average teams that end up 6-6 and 7-6. Michigan was 8-5. We don't know how Florida State's going to end up, but they were 2-10 last year. Teams are just average, man. You're not losing to big name schools on the road. You're losing. Well, they are big name schools, but they're schools that right now are just average. Now the rest of this year can still play out, and Florida State could make a miraculous recovery from their 2-10 season, and they may just do that. This may actually catapult them back to relevancy, and then they can thank us for giving them their Johnny Manziel moment, because that's what we did today. Once again, we're good at that too. Johnny Manziel, Steven Garcia, all those cats that didn't do anything in the NFL. We're good at making them have their famous moment. And let's look at some of these. Yeah, I know Alabama lost to an unranked team, Thunder OU Center. Damn, man, I'm glad you told me that. I'm glad you told me that, man, because I wouldn't have never known that. Golly, man, seriously? You think I don't know that? That's what I'm talking about. Every time Alabama loses on the road, it's to a team that's really just middle of the road, just like Oklahoma last year wasn't a great team, and Alabama just lost to them. They got beat by double digits. They got beat by 21, just like they did today against Florida State. The spread was 13. Florida State covered it for Alabama. Jenny Sue, Miss Kitty, New York, says, y'all should just be thankful. Thankful for what? We should just roll over and listen to all the Alabama haters out there that, oh, y'all ain't got Nick Saban anymore, and so y'all ain't going to be nothing anymore. Well, if you know your college football history, Jenny, Alabama's not just Nick Saban. Matter of fact, Alabama sort of made Nick Saban. Yes, he won one title at LSU, but he was an average middling coach for the Dolphins before we saved him from that situation and revitalized his coaching career. Okay? Alabama's won national championships with 5 different head coaches. This ain't a Nick Saban thing. It's an Alabama thing. I don't want none of the apologists in here, Bama. None of us know what FSU is. FSU was undefeated the season before last. That is true. That is true, Bama. But it seems like there's a pattern here, man. It seems like we have been unprepared on the road numerous times. All of our losses have came on the road, have they not? Check that for me. But I think Alabama is pretty much, they undefeated at home under Kalen DeBoer. He can coach at home, but he cannot coach on the road. Crazy Anime Gamer 3 says, now that FSU quarterback and Danny Cannell won't shut the hell up until they lose. There you go. That's what happens, Crazy, when you let a mealy mouth and someone likes to run their mouth constantly and talk smack, when you let them not only talk that smack to you, but then show you that they were exactly right, obviously. Thunder OU, it says Alabama, just like OU, make average quarterbacks look like Heisman contenders. That is true, just like I said. Jenny Sue says, I'm on the red dirt road. Well, Alabama's on the pothole road. We just hit a big-ass pothole, and our car's a little shaky right now, Jenny Sue. We might be about to break down. Play Wisconsin in 2 weeks. That's not going to be an easy game. It's at home, but Wisconsin is one of those teams, once again, that has been really good in the past, but they're a middle-of-the-road team. Right now, they're not as good as they once was, just like Florida State. Isn't that old Toby Keith song? Not as good as I once was, but good once as I ever was. Congratulations to Florida State. They're halfway to passing their win total from last year. Thanks to Alabama. Florida State can tie their win total from last year. Congratulations, Florida State. And congratulations to Alabama for being so charitable and getting those fake Indians off the deck. Now they can say they're relevant again, and their TPs didn't get burnt down, and the squaws get to stay on the reservation. So we didn't get to do the ass whoop coochie took. Ain't that something? Ty isn't the answer at Bama, says Bama. He has no composure, and Ryan is softer than hot butter. Chairman Bernard and Rico are our best receivers, and we need Jam back in the worst way, says Bama. Well, I noticed early in the game we were actually running the ball pretty good. We went away from the run completely in the third quarter, which I thought was a mistake, Bama. That guy Riley and Young, they were running the ball damn good in the first quarter. Went down straight down the field and scored, man. And then we just went away from it and started bringing in other backs. The guy from Louisiana, his name escapes me, Dre Washington, and then the other cat. What's his name? Those two don't need to be on the field unless there's an injury. You need to go with two backs. Have one back that you go with and another back that comes in and spells him. And those are the two backs that you should run. Alabama should be running Richard Young and Riley. Can't remember Riley's first name. Maybe y'all can help me out there. I know he went to County High here locally in Tuscaloosa. Oklahoma or Texas for me. If you know your history about me, Alabama sucks and has no fire. What? Alabama's won 6 national championships, Jeannie. We've won 6 national championships in the last 15 years. How many has Texas won? Oklahoma. How many they won the last 15 years? 0. Now, I'm not going to get on Oklahoma and Texas unless you get on my team. You get on my team, you don't want to get on your team. I come in here right now because I don't want to give all those joyous spastics out there. They're spastic and gleefully spastic coming here and saying, where's all the Alabama fans at? We're right here. We never leave. We're right here. You're just not going to come in here and roll over for you like you want. I'm not going to roll over. I will say that Kalen DeBoer has disappointed me. That Kalen DeBoer, I took up for him all year last year. I'm not a knee-jerk reaction kind of fan because I was taking up for him. So, hey, man, y'all need to give this guy time to get his system in place. And it's just one game into the season. But the way they lost and the way they looked is the problem I have. They looked unprepared, uninspired. And when you look at Kalen DeBoer on the sidelines, he looks uninspired. And I have a big problem with that. I understand not everybody's going to be a fiery coach and throwing their headset down, but I didn't see him get excited hardly any at all. I'll be honest, not at all. Not at all. Of course, I'm worried about the Alabama season, man. I'm an Alabama fan. I'm always going to be worried about my team. I do like your team, Oklahoma. They're like one of my second favorite teams. I'm worried about both of them. I've heard Oklahoma's not looking too good against an Illinois State team that's actually FCS Division I AA. I got to play Michigan next week. Luckily for y'all, it is in Norman. Y'all don't have to go to the big house. If not, if y'all had to go to the big house, I might be a little concerned. But because it's in Norman, hopefully Oklahoma will squeeze that one out. Jenny Sue says, I love Toby Keith. Yep, I think we all love Toby Keith, no matter where you're from, unless you just hate country music. Bama says those backs were sticking their heads down and running into defenders. We were running well in the first quarter because of good blocking. Well, where did good blocking go? But in the third quarter, they didn't even get the ball to them. They went completely away from the run, man. I don't think they ran the ball one time in the third quarter, Bama. Yeah, I'll saddle you up. You want to saddle up? Let's saddle up. Ultimate Warrior 77 says OU still needs to prove it, and hopefully they will. Well, I hope y'all do. I hope at least Oklahoma can stay undefeated more than 1 week or 2 weeks. Looks like Alabama, hell, they might have been lost 2 or 3 games by the time they play Georgia. But like I said, the only way he can right the ship on this, in my opinion, is he's going to have to win some huge games down the road to make them forget about this Florida State loss by double digits once again. And it would be just like Kalen DeBoer's narrative to go down into Georgia or go up to Georgia and beat them in Athens to save his job. Because if they beat Georgia, then everybody's going to forget about that Florida State loss. Unless, of course, they lose to Wisconsin or someone else between them and Georgia, which I think they play. Georgia after Wisconsin. So I think they get a week off after Wisconsin. Then they have to go to Georgia. So just saying, that's the only way it's going to save his season. If he beats Wisconsin, beats Georgia, then people will think, well, maybe Florida State's back. Maybe they're good. And like one of y'all said earlier, they were 13-0 2 years ago. So maybe the 2-10 was the mirage and not the 13-0. But I just had to come in here real quick to let all the haters that know that I haven't quit on my team. We're not rolling over. We're the Alabama Crimson Tide. We've been doing this since 1925, and we'll continue to do so. Even if it's not with Kalen DeBoer, Alabama will win a national championship under a sixth different coach. They've won national championships under 5 different head coaches, and they will win one under 6. Whether it's Kalen DeBoer or not remains to be seen. Right now, be honest with you, I've been a Kalen DeBoer fan since he got here, but today my confidence in him and being able to prepare teams to go on the road has been shaken mightily. I mean, it was already a little shaky after they went to Oklahoma and lost by 21. This sort of leads me to believe that he's not really good at preparing his team for road games. Without him out of here, KMCA to all the other teams, if you don't mind, smash that like button. Also, subscribe to the channel. Hit the subscribe button. And if you want to do a little something extra, hit that badge. Or not hit that badge. Hit that, not subscribe. Right over by the subscribe button, there's a join button. You can join the Outlaw Posse if you want to do a little something extra. It's $2.99 a month, 75 cents a week. It's just a half a bottle of water for the Outlaw. You get a badge, you get deputized, you get a random 4 horseman shout out on the actual podcast, as well as possibly the comment of the day. But like I said, you can't do all that. The big 4 are absolutely free. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. KMCA to all other teams one more time. Class is now officially dismissed.